Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. We're doing it outside today. This is a new one for me, Capricorn. I have not filmed outside or done a tea leaf reading outside for the channel yet. Life has gotten busy, so I'm trying to adapt, trying to be flexible, trying some new things. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope the sound is okay. I know it's a little bit loud out here. I am in a public space and there is a road near me, but we're gonna see what kind of magic kind of happens. We are right on the cusp of the Lion's portal or gateway on 8/8. And then the day after that, we have the full moon. So I think this actually comes out on 8/8, I think. Yeah, so it will be right on the portal. So it makes sense to me that we're going to be doing some different stuff. So let's start with the card. We have the Two of Cups right over here, and this is from the deck Carnival at the End of the World. I think that's what it's called. Let me check. Carnival at the End of the World. It is a really beautiful deck. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. So the Two of Cups is all about love, right? Union, working together. I like to think of it as getting on the same page domestically, usually, but also within the workspace, the family, wherever you are working with others, wherever you are trying to kind of forge a path or keep things kind of consistent, keep it stable, keep it functioning. This is the card that you really might be happy to see, because to me, it's all about learning to love your life, learning to work with yourself, work with others, preparing for that. If you've been here, the four of discs is always my favorite card. You know that. I'm a homebody. I like the house to be the center of the universe, my temple. And even though we are talking about the Two of Cups, of course, different elements and different suits, to me, the water of the cups is all about softening that earthiness, right? That like mud, that clay, that whatever. And to add the water and to make it more, agreeable in a lot of ways, right? You can mold it, you can spread it out, you can really solidify the not only the foundation but the walls of the home. We don't talk about that a lot, but the walls are just as sacred as the foundation or the hearth or the portals, the doorways, and this and that. So to add the water and the earth together, to be able to build that beautiful castle, that temple, to be able to gather the resources that you need and to learn the skills that you need to have to make use of those resources. And so when I see this Two of Cups, I think, we've been kind of on a story with you, Capricorn, of lots of work stuff, but lots of attention to the home life these last couple months. So this makes sense. All of it is coming together. All right, let's take a look at these tea leaves, and I want to say thank you so much for deciding to click on the reading. If you would be so kind as to maybe like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Also, if you have a prayer request or a request for some kind of energy sent your way, healing, to love, support, confidence, whatever it is, just to know there's somebody out there that is thinking about you, right? You can put that in the comments, or you can email me at ulaishere@gmail.com if you don't feel comfortable, putting it in the comments, which I get. All right, so I want to look at this one. This is like the first thing I saw. We have, and I don't have a stick. I didn't even think about that. I'm gonna have to use my finger. So the only thing I have is like a folding knife, so I'm not gonna use that. But this one reminds me of a young fox, or maybe a young wolf, some kind of canine trickstery. Because we have this shape, the triangle in the middle, it's very much like a fiery person, but it also reminds me of a young person, right? If you can think about like the drawings that kids make, where it's like somebody wearing a dress or a skirt or a robe or whatever, and they draw the triangle, right? Instead of more detailed, flowy, whatever. It's the triangle, which, by the way, that's how I still draw. So to me, it reads as a young, possibly feminine, trickstery person in your life. This is somebody that is very intelligent, maybe prone to kind of stirring things up a little bit. They might be somebody that like finds themselves in conflict quite often. And I think for you being a Capricorn, right? You can't figure out like, how the heck do you find yourself in these situations? Like, how does this even happen? How are you out in the world like arguing with people? How are you getting into disagreements with like your friends or your schoolmates or people at work? I think for Capricorn, it's so much about like keeping your head down and just kind of staying focused on the task at hand, staying within your own lane. You know what I mean? Just kind of minding your own business. But then, you have people in your life. Of course, everybody's different. And I feel like this particular person, it's just like whenever they show up, right? Whenever you're getting closer or you're spending more time together, it's like all of a sudden drama, right? Drama. You are trying to be diplomatic from one situation to the next, and just listening to them go on and on and on about these things, I feel like it is such a drain for you. I feel like you try not to internalize it, but it's hard not to, because this person's like a whole atmosphere. It's not like they just come in and they kind of shift the energy by their behavior. I mean, they come with an energy, like everywhere they go, it feels like them, right? Because it's just a chaotic, turbulent, volatile kind of feeling. Now, I wonder if this might be your child, or like a younger sister, or a friend, or somebody that it's like there's no way you're giving up on them. I mean, there's no way that you see a life without them. So that's like not an option, just like walking away. But I think here there's a lot of emphasis on learning to temper your reactions first, right? And then working deeper, going down that same path, and really like learning to shift the way that you even feel about things, right? Like for me, I am high strung when it comes to family stuff. Like when we're busy, we got a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to get my daughter to do this or that. I get high strung. I am. I'm snappy. I'm bossy. I'm, drill sergeant E, right? And I realize that that's not always the right way to go about it, because it throws everything into a tailspin, really, right? And So I'm learning in my life, and not just in this area, in a lot of areas, right? We can work on our reactions, and that's so important. But what we really, really, really have to try to get to is shifting the connections that we have made to certain sensations, impressions, feelings, right? So if we're running late, you might have, an anxious disposition for maybe not getting there on time, and maybe forgetting something, or maybe, you don't want to keep people waiting. You don't want to be rude, whatever it is, right? It's understandable, but does it always serve us well to be on edge when things are not happening in the time that we want them to, right? It just makes things worse. So we go from, working on, like, I'm not going to start yelling. I'm not going to start, freaking out and losing the things that I need to grab to leave the house. And okay, those are our reactions, and we're working on figuring out how to temper those. But getting to the deeper part where it's like, man, why do I have such a thing about being late, right? And also, why am I late? Why do I always wait to the last minute to get something done? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I getting getting deeper in there, undoing those knots, those blockages, those pathways that we have kind of cemented, right? Being late often equates stress for, I would say, most of us. Okay, so this is just an example. It doesn't have to be being late or even having anxiety, but I really do feel like for you in this situation, it's so much about, I think just working on learning to accept other people's, whatever, their whole vibe, their whole personality, how they do things, and not making it our responsibility, especially if this person is an adult, right? Even like our kids, they're 25, they're 30 years old, we still want to parent them, and we do, right? But at some point we have to stop thinking like this somehow reflects on me, because that there is going to create another blockage. That's a whole other can of worms, right? So I feel like in this time, what is going to be super important for you is trying to figure out how to not let, particularly this person, but people in general, right? Not let them throw you off your game, distract you, pull you off your path. Feel like you have to put down what you're doing to fix somebody else's mess, and I think that's the big thing here. There's a refocusing happening. There's also, I feel like it's like a recombination of, just how you're living. I feel like this is a time where there's just such a need for, I think, probably every single one of us to readjust how we're living in this world, and to figure out, like, what is realistic for me, right? What can I actually manage? Because it's chaos out here. It's always going to be chaos. It's always been chaos. But we have to find a way to find order, right? And I think that's really what it's coming down to. And listen, a Capricorn finding order is a love story, isn't it? Getting things back on track exactly how you need them to be. That sounds like the ultimate love story. Okay, so we also have, it looks like, the word raptor. If that raptor, like a bird, maybe it's a dinosaur. Maybe you have somebody in your life that is very into dinosaurs or raptor-esque birds. We have the face of, right here, it looks like a deer with the antlers. Okay, so we have the stag, really. Around, we have some fish. Okay, so here's the other part of the story. A real refocusing on, well, stacking coin, right? Making money. I feel like in this next period of time, there's going to be maybe some kind of opportunity to take on a little bit more work, maybe a second job, another side gig, a side hustle, whatever it is. Maybe you're starting like a little company, maybe you're doing, delivery or whatever it is. I feel like, obviously making more money, that's always a very acceptable thing, something that we can't complain too much about. But I feel like for you, this is kind of like going to be a little bit of a refuge for you. I think that during this time when you are doing this particular work, there will be more time for you to be, well, contemplating. So whatever it is, I feel like it's not going to be very people-y. I feel like you will have time by yourself, and this will be an opportunity to, well, either contemplate or ruminate. Like we always talk about, let's not cross over into rumination, obsessing or getting stuck in like a thought loop or, worrying. No. I suggest, and this is something that I like to do every single day, I like to think of a few things that I'm interested in, and when I have these moments in my day, I might want to research like, grass, or I've talked about it a lot this summer, the different plants that I am trying to introduce into the land that I'm living on. And, just things like this, or, right, doing our mantras, our affirmations. I find it very helpful to have things ready, because when I'm in the moment and I'm like, what do I want to spend my time with here? I end up trying to find something for a long time, and then next thing you know, I don't have any more time left, right? So, I like to make like a little list. I like to screenshot, like if I see a painting I really like, or an artist, or maybe there's like a quote or a picture or whatever it is, I screenshot it. And then I go back and I look. I have all these screenshots. Okay, these are the things that I found interesting in the morning or last night when I was going to bed. Now I can just go right into it. I don't need to take all this time to go down rabbit holes and trying to find something that feels interesting. No. So start making your lists, okay? Because I think while you're doing this other work, it's really going to be quite an opportunity for you to really get into those like deeper corridors of your interests, your passions, your desires, but also really, like I like to call it the self-archaeology, right? And so I think that this is going to be a big time for that. Now we have the stag. So this is also very much about like virility, about stamina, strength. And I think also during this time, right, I feel like the confidence is building. You're getting more in touch with yourself. You are feeling like, okay, I got this. I got this. I maybe forgot myself a little bit, but I remember now. And so I do. I feel like this is a time where there is like a fire. It is rising. It is really starting to get going within you. Now, in this moment, maybe if you're sitting, I know some of you are driving or, working and listening to this, but if you have a place where you can sit down for a second, I want to ask you to do so. Put your feet flat on the floor if you can. I know for me, some chairs are too tall. I have to do tippy toes. But feet flat on the ground, right? Sit up straight. Get those shoulders squared away. Okay, close your eyes and breathe. Through your nose, out of your mouth. Whatever pace works for you. Now, I want you to also put your hand on your belly, okay? I want you to feel it as you're breathing. I want you to feel the fire in there, because it is. It is growing. It is growing, and you can feel it filling you, all of you, right? It starts in the root. It goes up into that abdomen, and then it spreads out. It branches, right? And you will feel it in your lips, in your eyes, in your fingertips, your toes, your toenails, you know, and I feel like now more than ever, at least in this last few months, right, of readings, Capricorn, now more than ever, you are ready. You are ready. Things are going to feel easier, even though they are tough. Things will come as they do, and I feel like you are getting into a place where you can just let that happen, right? I feel like you are letting go, you are releasing a lot of the lament, and that's what it is with the Capricorn. There's a lot of that guilt, that shame, that lament, that what if, I should have, I could have, you know, and you don't often talk about it. You carry it with you. You write it on the walls of your temple, you know, like it's sacred. And maybe it is. But you don't have to dwell in those rooms all the time. You don't have to carry that stuff all the time. And I feel like right now, this is a time where, yeah, you're letting go of it. You are allowing yourself the space, the energy, the belovedness, right? To do the work that you need to do, to be the person that you want to be, who you've envisioned yourself to be, okay? So let's go ahead. We're just gonna look at this side, and then we'll move on to the other side of the plate there. Now this one looks like we have a young deer. You can see the little ear, and here's the head and the two front legs, and these are the back legs, and kind of laying down, right? If you can think of, you know, little fawns, they're very clumsy on their long, long legs. And so I do feel like this is kind of, and we see the little smile, look, right up there. It almost looks like it's winking. I feel like there are going to be these moments where you are this like little fawn walking out into the world for the first time, right? Seeing all of the beauty, seeing all of the glory, and also maybe a little bit wobbly, not exactly sure about everything that you're doing. But this is it. This is the time to really lean into your intuition, right? Letting things happen, going with the flow. I know it's not easy, Capricorn. If you remember, I am a Capricorn ascendant. So I get it, man. I get it. But I feel this is a freedom that maybe you've never had, or maybe one that you are returning to. It almost feels a little bit like childhood, right? Just existing within the world, not trying to control it, not trying to build it, not trying to, you know, manage all the systems and responsibilities. But if you can remember that feeling of just being in the world, having eyes wide open, being excited, having time to think and feel and create, right? And so I do feel that this is a beautiful time. It really does feel like a beautiful time. Now, we have what looks like a pan kind of person, creature over here with a, it looks like a unicorn's horn. Now, over here we have a tree. Okay, we also have the moon above the head of this person. And so to me, Pan often related to that kind of bacchanalian energy, that kind of high summer madness, you know, when it's really hot. It's those dogged days. We're a few months into the heat, tired, worn down, you know, still having fun, but just kind of in moments losing yourself, you know, into the energy of it all, right? If you can imagine, like the dervish, right? The Sufis, dancing, whirling. It is agape, right? This is a belovedness. This is that inhibition through divine love, through an all-consuming love and an obsessive love. A love that is not, it's not even about if it's unconditional or conditional. It doesn't even matter. This is just, it's like air. It's like, you know, the sun. It's like breathing. It's like, you know, whatever things we have to do. It is something that is so natural, you don't even have to really define it. Now, we do want to, you know, find words to share. We want to share the feeling. But this is one of those things in life, you know, much like death, I would say. There's no way to share it with anybody. This is you. This is your solo mission. And when you have these moments where you can let go of your identity, let go of your conditioning, let go of those social mores, you know, the behaviors, and just let yourself be, right? Dance, create, make love, go out and walk among the tall grass, sing, scream, cry, whatever. Just let it out. That's this energy. Now, I do feel like because we have it with the tree there, this really is about you being probably one of the first people, at least that you know of in your family, that is intentionally trying to break generational cycles of mistreatment, abuses, you know, just living circumstances, whatever it is. So I do feel like at times you might feel kind of alienated, isolated, out there in the universe all by yourself, you know, and I don't know, maybe we are all by ourselves, I don't know. But I do feel like at times, right, we shift into this wholeness, this togetherness, this feeling of being so interconnected with everything. And I feel like for you, this is like one of those key ingredients to what is going on with you. Allowing yourself to let go of your, well, I don't know, shyness, or maybe you're asocial. I'm pretty asocial too. You know, whatever it is, letting go of some of it, not all of it. I'm not saying change who you are completely or put yourself in uncomfortable situations, but allowing for a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more, right? The unfurling. Oh, I just saw a cricket. And we have ants on here. Ooh, I love it out here. It's so pretty. Hopefully the sound's not too terrible. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyways, Capricorn, I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It is always such a great pleasure to be able to bring these messages to you and spend this time with you, right? Sharing energy, communing, all the good stuff. Let's see, what else do we have? I think, you know, just the same old thing. If you want to help the channel a little bit, liking or subscribing so that you don't miss your readings. You can also You know, watch your other placements, your moon, your Venus, your rising, whatever it is. Go and watch some of the other readings and see how they coincide with one another. Maybe they all complement each other, and maybe they're completely opposite. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. What else? Prayer requests, you can put those in the comments or send those to ulaishere@gmail.com. If you have not checked out my husband's channels, he is Paul over at Dove and Serpent Tarot. Go check him out. He's amazing. He also has a new channel, Tarot Logic. It's pretty awesome, actually. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm kind of jealous. He gets to talk about all kinds of really neat stuff. A lot of different topics, like, I don't even know, like, you know, different aspects of the tarot, different aspects of the spiritual community, industry, different facets of the occult, philosophy, you know, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Every day I'm surprised. There are like just random topics that are just sometimes they're very timely too, right? They just like go right along with the things that are going on in the greater zeitgeist. And so anyways, go check those out. We also have, I have started doing subliminals. If you don't know what those are, you can go kind of look it up on the Googles or even here at YouTube. They're kind of like, yeah, like spells, manifesting, like I think of it as an anchor, right? A point of energy, and it is layered with different intentions and devotions and blessings and, you know, appeals and so on. So yesterday I put one out for attracting clean water into our lives, to have access to water, which I think is one of the most important things that we are going to have to start considering more and more as time goes on. So I do feel like, you know, these are some of the things that maybe get overlooked when we're doing magic, but fundamental aspects of our life, right? If you've ever been in a situation where you could not get drinking water, if there was a disaster, or if you know, were out in the middle of wherever and you just ran out of water, or, you know, whatever it might be, then you know how stressful and how worrisome that can feel. So anyways, go check the channel out. It's called Ula Does Subliminals. Other than that, I'm just gonna tell you, I love you. Please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll talk in a few days. Good night, or bye. It's not night. I don't know why I always say night. Sorry guys. I'm trying to get out of the habit.